The controversial scene that took Gunsmoke off the air. You know Gunsmoke, right? The classic western that captivated millions with its tales of law and order in Dodge City. But what if I told you that one scene, just one scene, was so controversial it almost ended the show's entire run? Imagine for a moment the shockwaves that rippled through living rooms across America when a single moment on Gunsmoke sparked outrage. This isn't about a fistfight or a saloon brawl. This scene was different. It was a scene that pushed boundaries and divided viewers and nearly cost Gunsmoke its legacy. So what was this scene? And how did it almost bring down a beloved western? Stick around, because you won't believe the truth behind the controversial scene that took Gunsmoke off the air. Gunsmoke, a classic western drama, captivated audiences for 2 decades, from 1955 to 1975. It was a beloved show, not just in America, but across the globe. Every week, viewers tuned in to follow the adventures of Marshal Matt Dillon, played by the towering James Arness. But did you know Gunsmoke actually started as a radio show? It was a popular radio play that caught the attention of television executives who decided to bring it to the small screen. The radio show continued for 6 more years, from 1952 to 1961. Initially, the role of Matt Dillon was offered to John Wayne, but he declined due to the demanding TV schedule. Despite this, he gave the show a positive review before it aired. The show's early seasons were sponsored by LM cigarettes, a stark reminder of how times have changed. William Conrad, who played Matt Dillon on the radio, was initially considered for the TV role, but James Arness was chosen for his physical presence. Gunsmoke's opening scene, featuring a gunfight between Matt Dillon and another gunman, was a staple of the show for years. However, around 1970, political pressure against violence on television led to a change in the opening sequence. In 1967, CBS planned to cancel Gunsmoke, but the audience protested, leading to the cancellation of Gilligan's Island instead. However, there's more to the story than meets the eye. Gunsmoke held the primetime record for most episodes until The Simpsons surpassed it in 2018. Gunsmoke addressed social issues of its time, albeit within the context of the Western genre. The show explored themes of racial prejudice, gender roles, and the complexities of law and order, often reflecting the realities of the Wild West. However, these issues were often presented through the lens of the Wild West, with the show's focus on action and adventure often overshadowing these social concerns. Despite airing for only 20 seasons, Gunsmoke had more episodes per season than modern TV shows. The casting process for Gunsmoke was a long and arduous one. James Arness was one of 26 finalists, but the first choice was William Conrad, who had played a U.S. Marshal on the radio. James Arness, a real-life tough guy, filmed every episode of the show despite a leg injury from World War II. His towering height, 6 feet 7 inches, made him a formidable presence on screen, but it also contributed to arthritis later in life. The pain was so severe that Arness could only film for 1 day at a time. The producers accommodated his condition, allowing him to complete all his scenes for an episode in a single day. Amanda Blake, the stunning red-haired actress who played Miss Kitty Russell, the saloon owner, appeared in over 500 episodes of the show. But in the radio version, Miss Kitty's profession was more suggestive. Norman MacDonald, the creator of the series, never explicitly stated what Miss Kitty did for a living, but he hinted at it, saying, "Kitty is just someone Matt has to visit every once in a while." This led Time magazine to speculate that she wasn't selling candy bars. Amanda Blake, a seasoned actress, had a strong desire to play Miss Kitty. She persistently pursued the role until she was cast. She played the saloon owner for 19 years, becoming close friends with Glenn Strange, who played the bartender. Sadly, Blake left the show before its end due to the passing of her friend. The role of Miss Kitty was initially offered to Polly Bond, wife of Tommy Bond from The Little Rascals. However, she declined the role because she would have earned more than her husband, who worked at a TV station. She feared it would cause problems in their marriage. The casting of Matt Dillon was a crucial decision. Some say John Wayne was approached for the role, but there's no concrete evidence. Charles Marquis Warren, a director who knew Wayne, said Wayne wouldn't have been interested as he wasn't a big fan of television. However, Wayne did suggest James Arness for the role. With so many episodes, it's hard to remember all the actors who graced Gunsmoke. 10 actors were mainstays, 7 appeared frequently, and countless guest stars graced the screen. Burt Reynolds, known for his charismatic charm, played Quint Asper, a half-Native American character from 1962 to 1965. Asper couldn't drink in Dodge City due to his heritage. Reynolds went on to become a successful actor, passing away at the age of 82. Dennis Weaver, who played Chester, the funny sidekick, was initially considered too charming for the role. The producers asked him to give his character a physical problem, and he chose a limp, which he practiced in his yard. However, Weaver later regretted his decision as he had to maintain the limp throughout the 290 episodes. Doc Adams, played by Milburn Stone, was a significant part of Gunsmoke for over 10 years. He had a fascinating background, having studied in Philadelphia, worked as a doctor for gamblers on boats, and even known Mark Twain. Despite his prominent role, Stone's first name was unknown to many viewers. After 16 years, the producers allowed him to choose a first name for his character, and he selected Galen. Gunsmoke also featured guest appearances by many famous actors from other shows. Christopher Knight, Eve Plum, and Susan Olsen, all from the Brady Bunch, made appearances in the show. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. Charles Bronson, who played James Bond, appeared in one episode as a crazy guy named Krigo. He even reprised the role a few years later. David Carradine, known for Kung Fu, played a horse thief, while Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun played a gang leader. Other famous faces like Nick Nolte, Dennis Hopper, Sam Elliott, Richard Dreyfuss, Kurt Russell and Harrison Ford also made guest appearances. Ken Curtis, a versatile actor, played various roles on Gunsmoke before landing the unforgettable role of Festus Hagen in episode 13 of season 8. He became a regular cast member a year later, bringing laughter and a watchful eye to the streets of Dodge City. Curtis based Festus on a childhood friend named Cedar Jack, who made wooden posts. Glenn Strange, another talented actor, played bartender Sam Noonan on Gunsmoke, but his career extended far beyond that role. He was famously Frankenstein's monster in 3 movies in the 1940s, taking over the role after Boris Karloff's passing. Strange was a master of both horror and comedy, as evidenced by his role in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein in 1948. Gunsmoke was his final achievement before his passing from lung cancer in 1973. Strange's influence on the cast was profound. Buck Taylor, his friend and Gunsmoke co-star, named his 3rd son after him as a tribute to his memory. James Arness's war injury had a significant impact on the production of Gunsmoke. During World War II, he served in the US Army and was injured in the Battle of Anzio in Italy. The injury, which earned him the Bronze Star and Purple Heart, left him with lasting pain. As a result, Gunsmoke had to plan Arness's scenes carefully, especially those involving walking. James Arness and Milburn Stone were mainstays in almost every episode of Gunsmoke. Stone nearly matched Arness's record, missing only 6 episodes due to a heart attack in 1971. Despite his health struggles, Arness persevered, filming all his scenes in one day to allow for a week of recovery. Gunsmoke was a top-rated show for 4 years. Gunsmoke presented a romanticized portrayal of the Wild West, focusing on the exciting adventures of cowboys, lawmen, and outlaws. While the show offered glimpses of the harsh realities of frontier life, it ultimately presented a sanitized and idealized version of the West. Gunsmoke's portrayal of Native Americans has been criticized for its stereotypical representations. The show often depicted Native Americans as hostile and dangerous, perpetuating harmful stereotypes that were prevalent in the media at the time. When it became an hour-long show in 1957, viewership dropped, but it regained popularity in the 1960s and 1970s. The show's popularity led to the production of 5 TV movies. Gunsmoke returned to Dodge in 1987, Gunsmoke: The Last Apache in 1990, Gunsmoke: To the Last Man in 1992, Gunsmoke: The Long Ride in 1993, and Gunsmoke: One Man's Justice in 1994. James Arness starred in all 5 films, but they were not as well received as the original series. The phrase "get out of Dodge" became famous due to the show's setting in Dodge City, Kansas. It gained popularity in the 1960s and 1970s. Matt Dillon, the show's protagonist, was a tough and stoic character who rarely showed romance. In the show's 20 years and 635 episodes, he only kissed a woman once in the third episode of the 19th season, aptly titled Matt's Love Story. Chester, played by Dennis Weaver, was a non-violent character who didn't carry a weapon. His limp was added to distinguish him from Matt Dillon, but Weaver later regretted the decision, as it became a burden to maintain. Ken Curtis, who played Festus, appeared in 307 episodes of Gunsmoke. In one of the original 30-minute episodes, he played an Indian. Later, he portrayed a Kansas cattleman who became friends with Chester only to meet a tragic end. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. James Arness, a hero on television, was also a hero in real life. He served in the military during World War II despite his leg injury. He received numerous awards for his service, including the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Combat Infantry Badge. Marshall Trimble, a Wild West historian, estimated that Matt Dillon shot 407 people in Gunsmoke, including both the TV series and the TV movies. The final kill in the series is perhaps the most memorable. In the final episode, William Gary Busey's character died on screen due to a brain tumor. The show's opening gunfight was a staple for years, but as the Vietnam War escalated and concerns about violence grew, the opening sequence was changed to a less violent one. The ending of Gunsmoke was abrupt and unexpected. CBS cancelled the show without informing the cast or crew. The final episode, The Sharecroppers, was a light and forgettable story about Festus, who accidentally shoots a farm boy and then works on the farm to make up for it. It lacked the gravitas and satisfying closure that Gunsmoke deserved after 20 years on television. Gunsmoke was a groundbreaking show in terms of its production techniques, considering the limitations of television technology at the time. The show employed innovative camera angles, lighting, and editing techniques to create a sense of realism and excitement, immersing viewers in the Wild West world. The show's use of sound was masterful. The sounds of horseshoes on cobblestones, saloon doors swinging open, and gunshots added to the realism and atmosphere of the Wild West, contributing to the show's enduring appeal. Gunsmoke embraced location filming in the American West to enhance its visual appeal and create a sense of authenticity. The show's producers carefully selected locations that matched the setting of Dodge City, Kansas, giving the series a realistic and visually captivating backdrop. CBS likely felt that Gunsmoke was outdated and wanted to replace it with newer shows, despite its continued success. The sudden cancellation of Gunsmoke was a disappointment to fans and the cast alike. However, the TV movie Return to Dodge helped to rectify the situation, providing a sense of closure for the show. The cancellation of Gunsmoke was not an accident. CBS planned it that way. David R. Greenland's book, The Gunsmoke Chronicles: A New History of Television's Greatest Western, revealed that CBS cancelled the show without informing the cast or crew. James Arness recalled that they were all expecting another season of Gunsmoke. CBS led them to believe that everything was fine, but then, just before production was set to begin, CBS abruptly cancelled the show. Even the producer, John Mantley, was unaware of the cancellation until he read about it in The Hollywood Reporter. Arness added that CBS didn't even bother to call Mantley. CBS had considered ending Gunsmoke before, but the reasons remain unclear. From 1957 to 1961, Gunsmoke was the most popular show on television, and it continued to be well-liked in the 1970s. In 1967, CBS almost cancelled the show, but a TV boss's wife intervened, as it was her favourite show. Instead of cancelling Gunsmoke, they cancelled Gilligan's Island by mistake. Gunsmoke then received the coveted time slot that Gilligan's Island had, and the show's popularity soared, returning to the top 10. Ultimately, CBS cancelled the show, but if they had given it a proper ending, it could have gone out with the same respect and closure as MASH. In 1975, Gunsmoke was temporarily removed from television due to a scene where a man was killed with a shotgun. The scene was deemed too violent for some viewers, and it was subsequently removed. Gunsmoke, a show that captured the spirit of the Wild West, left an indelible mark on television history. Its influence on popular culture cannot be overstated. The show helped shape the public's perception of the Wild West, contributing to the romanticized image of the frontier. Its iconic characters, memorable storylines, and atmospheric settings became synonymous with the genre. Gunsmoke explored complex themes that resonated with viewers. The show explored the struggle between law and order and the lawless nature of the frontier. It depicted the moral dilemmas faced by Matt Dillon as he wrestled with his duty to uphold the law while grappling with the realities of violence and corruption. So that's the story of the controversial scene that almost ended Gunsmoke. It's a reminder that even beloved shows aren't immune to controversy, and that sometimes a single moment can have a lasting impact. It's a lesson in understanding how art reflects our changing world and how even fictional narratives can spark real-life debate. What are your thoughts? Did you ever catch that controversial scene? What surprised you most about Gunsmoke's history? Do you think the cancellation of the film is right? If you think so, comment yes. If not, comment no. Let's keep the conversation going. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. And if you're enjoying these deep dives into classic TV, hit that like button and subscribe to Iconic Inside for more behind-the-scenes stories and fascinating facts. John Wayne truly hated him more than anyone. Welcome to Iconic Inside, where we peel back the layers of history's most captivating figures. Today, we're diving into the life of a Hollywood legend who harbored a surprising hatred that might just change how you see him. The man, John Wayne, the target of his disdain? Well, stick around because you're in for quite the revelation. John Wayne, an icon of the silver screen, known for his roles as a rugged cowboy and tough law enforcer, held a grudge so deep it colored much of his life and career. But who could have sparked such animosity in one of America's most beloved actors? And why did this feud burn so intensely behind the scenes? Today, we'll uncover the truth behind the Duke's most intense dislike, revealing a side of him rarely seen by the public. Was it a fellow actor, a political figure, or something entirely unexpected? Get ready for some shocking insights. John Wayne, an enduring American icon, is celebrated for his roles in beloved westerns and war films. Yet, how much do we truly understand about him? Tracing his journey from his early days to his peak fame and subsequent controversies, we explore the lesser-known story of John Wayne. Born Marion Robert Morrison in 1907 in Iowa, he relocated to California with his family in 1914. From a young age, Wayne's constant companion was his Airedale dog, Duke. Their bond was so strong they were dubbed Little Duke and Big Duke, coining Wayne's lifelong moniker. During his time at Glendale High School, Wayne shone in both football and theater, initially envisioning a future in football. His impressive play earned him a scholarship with the University of Southern California Trojans. Off the field, he enjoyed the life of a typical surfer at Newport Beach. However, a body surfing mishap in 1926 abruptly halted his football pursuits and wave riding days. The injury led Wayne to exit college, steering him towards the local film industry for employment. His cinema debut was at the Fox Film Corporation, where he began as a prop man, handling furniture and equipment for meager earnings. It was here in 1926 that he also started appearing as an extra in films. John Wayne began his film career as an anonymous Yale football player in the movie Brown of Harvard. He continued to perform in 13 more films without credit until his breakthrough in 1929's Words and Music, where he was listed as Duke Morrison. Around this time, Wayne established a pivotal and lasting relationship with director John Ford. However, it was director Raoul Walsh who truly launched Wayne's career with a significant role in 1930's The Big Trail. In this film, Wayne portrayed Breck Coleman, the courageous leader of a wagon train heading west. Wayne outperformed 81 other actors to land this part. Initially, Walsh proposed the stage name Anthony Wayne for him, but Winfield Sheehan, the head of Fox Studios, objected, saying it sounded too Italian. Instead, Sheehan renamed him John Wayne, a name that would become iconic. Contrary to his rugged on-screen persona, John Wayne was not fond of horses. According to the biography John Wayne, The Life and Legend, Wayne's son Michael was taught to ride by stuntmen rather than by Wayne himself. This fact might surprise many, as Wayne spent a considerable part of his career on horseback. As noted by journalist Gary Wills in a PBS interview, Wayne hated horses, never rode except on the set and never rode when he didn't have to. Despite common beliefs that John Wayne was not comfortable with horses, his son Patrick offers a different perspective. According to him, Wayne was actually an excellent horseman. This was evident during the filming of the 1971 movie Big Jake, where Wayne managed to stay on his horse even after it was startled during a chase scene. Patrick also shared a personal anecdote from the 1961 film The Comancheros. He struggled with horse riding, looking unskilled in an initial scene. Seeing this, John Wayne told him, "You're going to learn how to ride a horse," and took it upon himself to ensure his son mastered riding. Patrick's improvement was so notable that they reshot the earlier scene to match his later proficiency. This story not only highlights Wayne's skill, but also his commitment to authenticity in his films. John Wayne, the epitome of on-screen rugged masculinity, was surprisingly shy and somewhat clumsy around women off camera. Despite this, he navigated marriage 3 times and fathered 7 children. He first tied the knot with Josephine in 1933, resulting in a family of 4 children. However, this relationship unraveled by 1943 amid rumors of his affair with Marlene Dietrich, his co-star in 7 Sinners, The Spoilers, and Pittsburgh. The affair, which ignited soon after Dietrich reportedly demanded of her agent, "Daddy, get me that," is often attributed to her by most biographers. The liaison with Dietrich lasted around 3 years. After its end, Wayne's second marriage to Esperanza was plagued by jealousy and tumultuous disputes, exacerbated by his rumored affair with actress Gail Russell. The day his divorce from Esperanza was finalized in 1954, Wayne wasted no time marrying actress Pilar Palette, marking the start of another chapter in his complex personal life. This sequence of events paints a picture of a man whose off-screen life was as dramatic and turbulent as the roles he portrayed on the silver screen. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment OK if you find this video interesting. Thank you. Before their separation in 1973, Wayne and his third wife, Pilar, welcomed 3 more children. Following the split, Wayne never remarried. He spent his final years with Pat Stacey, his secretary. During the intense years of World War II, from 1940 to 1945, John Wayne was featured in 7 war films. Although he had registered for military service, he received a 3A deferment citing family dependency as he was the sole provider for his family. Wayne had planned to make a few more movies before joining the service, partly to maintain his visibility in Hollywood. While he did anticipate eventually joining the war effort, he ultimately never served during the war. This aspect of his life underscores a complex interplay between his public image as a war hero on screen and his real-life status away from the battlefield. In 1942, Congress updated the Selective Service Act, granting deferrals to all married men, which included John Wayne. This exemption reportedly irked his friend and director John Ford. During the 1945 shoot of They Were Expendable for cheated Wayne, Duca, "Can't you manage a salute? That at least looks like you've been in the service?" Infuriated by the comment, Weiner stormed off the set, a rare occurrence in his career. Wayne himself believed his presence in Hollywood was more beneficial to the war effort than serving overseas. Reflecting on his decision, he once mentioned to Ford's grandson Dan, "I felt it would be a waste of time to spend 2 years picking up cigarette butts. I thought I could do more for the war effort by staying in Hollywood." Despite these controversies, there were genuine attempts by Wayne to serve. A letter found in the National Archives shows that he applied to join the Office of Strategic Services. This aspect of his life was highlighted in the 2015 film Trumbo, where an exchange between characters underscored the ongoing debate about Wayne's wartime role. "Where did you serve again? Are you trying to say something?" "No, Duke, he wasn't." This dialogue captures the complex views surrounding Wayne's actions during the war. By 1948, at the age of 41, John Wayne faced a reality many middle-aged men encounter. He was losing his hair. From then on, he sported a toupee in his movies, though he sometimes appeared in public without it. He made a notable exception for his 1957 film The Wings of Eagles, choosing not to wear his wig. Wayne was quite candid about his use of a toupee. When a reporter questioned him about it, he humorously responded, "It's not phony, it's real hair. Of course it's not mine, but it's real." Interestingly, celebrity hairpieces can become highly valuable. In 2010, the toupee Wayne wore in the 1967 film El Dorado was auctioned for $1,240. Another of his wigs, found in 2013, sold for $6,250, along with its canvas block. In another aspect of his career, while filming The Conqueror in 1954, Wayne encountered a risky situation. The production was located in the Utah desert, only 100 miles from a Nevada atomic bomb testing site. Despite assurances from officials that fallout would not affect the set, a Geiger counter present was so active that Wayne suspected it was malfunctioning. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment "OK" if you find this video interesting. Thank you. At the time, no one realized the grave danger they were in, but everyone on the set of The Conqueror was exposed to radiation as fallout from nearby atomic bomb tests in Nevada drifted over the Utah filming location. This exposure eventually linked those affected in Utah, Arizona, and Nevada to the group now known as Downwinders. In 1964, John Wayne was diagnosed with cancer, resulting in the removal of a lung and some ribs. Wayne's battle with cancer ended in 1979 when he succumbed to stomach cancer. Tragically, his sons Michael and Patrick, who were also on the set, developed cancer as well, though they survived. By 1981, a shocking statistic emerged. 91 of the 220 cast and crew members from The Conqueror had developed cancer and 46 had died, including Wayne, the film's lead actress Susan Hayward, and director Dick Powell. This tragic outcome highlights the unforeseen and long-lasting impact of the film's production location near the atomic testing site. John Wayne maintained friendships with several US presidents throughout his life, including Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan. He was particularly supportive of Richard Nixon, actively campaigning for him in the 1960 presidential election. Despite his support for Nixon, Wayne was gracious in defeat. After John F. Kennedy won the election, Wayne sent him a telegram expressing his congratulations from the loyal opposition. Wayne's reaction to political events showed his fair-minded nature. He was deeply affected by Kennedy's assassination in 1963, sharing in the national mourning. Similarly, when Barry Goldwater, another friend of his, lost the 1964 election, Wayne accepted the outcome with grace. His political enthusiasm rekindled in 1968 when he again supported Nixon, who valued Wayne's appeal among blue-collar voters. Their friendship continued even as Nixon faced political turmoil. After Nixon's victory, they remained close, even through the Watergate scandal that led to Nixon's resignation in 1974. Reflecting on Nixon's handling of the situation, Wayne commented, "He probably should have just stood up at the very beginning and said, 'Anybody that's done something wrong, go to jail.' He didn't do it soon enough." This comment underscores Wayne's straightforward approach to personal integrity and accountability. In 1976, John Wayne delivered his final film performance in The Shootist, sharing the screen with Lauren Bacall and Ron Howard. The film poignantly mirrored his own life, portraying an aging Old West gunman grappling with a terminal cancer diagnosis. In the movie, Wayne's character, J.B. Brooks, decides to face death on his own terms, choosing a climactic gunfight as his exit. This role is celebrated by the John Wayne heritage as one of his finest. The film's line, "Most men, regardless of cause or need, aren't willing, and they blink an eye or draw a breath before they pull the trigger," resonated deeply. Given Wayne's own battle with cancer, this added a layer of authenticity and gravity to his performance, leading the public to speculate that he was still fighting the disease during the filming of The Shootist. John Wayne was visibly struggling during the filming of The Shootist, which led many to assume his cancer had returned. However, he had actually beaten the disease back in 1969. Despite this, the actor faced other health challenges during production. He was hospitalized with the severe flu but continued working with no intention of slowing down. At the time, he was also preparing for another project, Beau John, a light comedy set in the 1920s about a Kentucky family's patriarch. Unfortunately, Wayne's health deteriorated when his stomach cancer returned in January 1979, and he passed away later that year on June 11th. Decades after his death, Wayne's legacy faced scrutiny when a 1971 Playboy interview resurfaced, revealing controversial statements. "I believe in white supremacy until the blacks are educated to a point of responsibility. I don't believe in giving authority and positions of leadership and judgment to irresponsible people." In the interview, Wayne articulated beliefs about black people needing better educational opportunities. He argued that his generation was not responsible for the long-ago enslavement of African Americans, and justified the seizure of American land from indigenous people as a necessary act for survival. He stated, "I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from Native Americans. If that's what you're asking, our so-called stealing of this country from them was just a matter of survival. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves. I'm sad to see minorities make so much of themselves as a hyphenated American." He also expressed discontent with the concept of hyphenated American identities and criticized socialism, implying that government support for minority groups was unwarranted, saying, "You can't whine and bellyache because somebody else got a good break and you didn't, like these Indians are. We'll all be on a reservation soon if the socialists keep subsidizing groups like them with our tax money. There shouldn't be so much whining and bellyaching." These statements led to significant backlash, sparking debates about his legacy and even discussions about renaming John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California. The interview highlights the complexity of historical figures and the evolving societal standards by which they are judged. As we wrap up our exploration of John Wayne's multifaceted life, both on and off the silver screen, it's clear that his legacy is as complex as the characters he portrayed. From his iconic roles in westerns and war films to his controversial personal views and the health battles he faced, Wayne's story offers us valuable life lessons about resilience and the enduring impact of one's actions and words. Wayne's journey reminds us that while we may face challenges and controversies, how we respond to them defines our character more than the obstacles themselves. It also underscores the importance of confronting historical narratives and the perspectives we inherit, encouraging us to think critically about the past and its influence on the present. Now, we turn the discussion over to you. John Wayne believed that taking land from indigenous peoples was a necessary act of survival. Do you support this view? If yes, please comment yes. If not, please comment no. Let's engage in a thoughtful discussion about this complex aspect of history. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Iconic Inside for more insightful dives into the lives of those who've shaped our culture and history. Your engagement helps us keep bringing content that enlightens and entertains. So hit that like button, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more stories that resonate through time. What other historical figures or events would you like us to explore next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below.